This episode of Philly Fame TV is sponsored by Top Dog Law. Now y'all already know who to call for any accidents or injury cases. If you want that top dollar, you better get that Top Dog. You can hit him up on Instagram at Top Dog Law or visit his website www.topdoglaw.com. Philly Fame. Alright, welcome back to Philly Fame TV once again. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, tapping in. Like I always say, I don't take the support for granted, so shout out to everybody that's been supporting. We back once again. What happened to and where are they now? And on this episode, which is episode 11, we're going to feature, the Ape Gang. Shout out to them. They my guys. We go back with them, So this is, another special edition, another special episode right here. We go way back from when they start coming up. We was coming up around the same time. So, we seen they come up as well as our come up. So we always was tight and we was, locked in. Ever since. So they still my guys. Shout out to them. So, without further ado, let's get into, the story of Ape Gang. Now, I first heard of them, as, All Pro Entertainment before they was Ape Gang. That's where the Ape come from, All Pro Entertainment. I seen them on, one of them Big Star DVDs back in the day. It was a Casino in Maine. Before Reddy was Reddy Rock, he was Maine. And there was another guy named Casino. Them two, they was like tag team partners or whatever the case may be. Preem and Garcia, they younger. They young boys to Reddy. Reddy got them by a couple years, so they was young boys at the time. I believe they was around in the mix, but they wasn't on the forefront rapping. Preem say he started rapping later on and all that. Reddy was rapping first, obviously, and then Garcia started doing his thing, then Preem kinda. So when it was All Pro Entertainment, they were just probably around, but not really rapping in the forefront yet. And as All Pro Entertainment, Casino in Maine, they was in the mix with Jay Bezel Heavy before he popped off and got down with Dipset and did the Certified Gangsta and all that. Before he was able to get to that level, he was in the city running around spitting on the DVDs and stuff too. So I seen them on a DVD together, and I believe they got music and stuff together too. So they was a little squad. I guess they from the same hood or whatever the case may be. I ain't 100% sure, but they had a nice little run as far as the All Pro Entertainment, Casino in Maine, they doing their thing. Like I said, from the tour for the street stuff and all that, they had a little wave. And I'm not exactly sure what happened with it, but at some point in time, I seen them transition from, All Pro Entertainment into, Ape Gang. And that's when I seen more Maine, who changed his name to Reddy Rock. Then he started going by Reddy Rock. That's when I started seeing Garcia and Preem in the mix, and I didn't really see Casino around too much no more. And also, I never heard what happened or the story, none of that, as far as why he wasn't around or what happened with that. But I just seen that, they Ape Gang now, and it's more like I said, Reddy, Preem, and Garcia. As some time went on, they had other, members, affiliate members a part of it too, like Stiz. And I believe the other guy's name was Miz, if I ain't mistaken. Stiz from Southwest, and I believe Miz might be from Southwest too. So at some point in time, they was a part of it, for a period of time. But for the most part, the main people was Reddy, Garcia, and Preem as far as the rap side. And they come up on the same block. That's how they know each other. So a lot of this is based on, the interviews I did with Garcia and Preem. I ain't get to do a joint with Reddy because Reddy was out Cali. Around the time when I started doing these Philly Fame interviews and all that, and I get a little bit into that as we get into the episode. But I did a joint with Garcia and Preem, and they pretty much broke down a lot of the stories. So a lot of this is gonna come, from their stories, from their interviews, along with my perspective and stuff that I knew from them. So I know them to be from 6200 Bavaria Street, Uptown. They all came up on the same block. That's pretty much not how they know each other. Like I said, Reddy a little older than them, so but they all know each other, whatever the case may be. And they was out there, doing their thing. They was in the mix. Know what I mean, getting to it. I mean, the streets, as far as the streets and all that. I mean, that's where they was repping. Slim. I mean, Slim was like the big homie of it. I mean, the guy out that joint. I mean, I actually met him at they used to do, Ape Gang used to do these cookouts uptown and shit. They had a couple year run and shit when they was doing these cookouts uptown, up their way and shit. And like bands that we fuck with them and shit like that. Like we went up to that joint, and when I went up there, like Reddy Rock pretty much introduced me to Slim. And, like it was Slim the one who started Ape Gang. Like he the founder, pretty much. He the guy. I mean, behind Ape Gang, pretty much. Like that's pretty much how he introduced me to him. And I mean, me and him been cool ever since. So yeah, shout out to Slim and shit. But Slim was like the big homie or I mean, I'm guessing he might have been like the plug. They ain't never say that flat out, or I mean, nobody never said it, but that's just how I perceived the situation, looking at it. Like he seemed like he might have been, the plug as far as with putting them on and with the work and all that, and them out there trapping and doing their thing. Like, so far as the rap, like I said, Reddy was mainly known because he was on the Too Raw for the Streets DVD early on and all that. And then Garcia and Preem kind of, started to do their thing and get their wave going and all that. Like I said, Preem said he was inspired by them, so he started rapping later. Like they both was rapping first.
Sure, man, we grew up together. I mean, we from the same block, 6200, Uptown. I mean, shout out to Slim, Ape Gang, Ape Gang Slim. You know what I'm saying? Came up like that, we was out there hustling, trying to get some paper. And you know what I mean? Gar's been rapping. Everybody was rapping like way before me. Like them niggas like the reason why I wanted to rap. And I mean, it was Reddy and another artist. They was together, and we was more like we was a couple years younger, so it was like, what I'm saying, we was doing our little thing, and then eventually that shit just came together. You know what I'm saying? Big homie Slim was like, I mean, we was out, we was out there chasing, getting some paper. You know what I'm saying? It was just like niggas moving around. Fuck it, we gonna move as one. I mean, put this shit together. I mean, the stronger, the more it is, I mean, the better. And at that time, we was on a note. We like, man, we just gonna go for it. We trying to get a bug, trying to get a name, trying to get this shit rolling. And we just went hard. That's how it went. You know what I'm saying?
Like Preem said, though, we all came up together. You know what I'm saying? So it really was Reddy at first. You know what I'm saying? Reddy was the one that really was hot, but we always was a family because it's where we all came from. You know what I'm saying? And then me and Preem, we was doing our thing, but we still was all under Ape Gang. It was All Pro Entertainment, matter of fact, before it was Ape Gang. That's where Ape Gang came from. Everybody asked me like, where Ape Gang come from? Where Ape Gang come from? All Pro Entertainment. And then we started saying APE. You know what I'm saying? And then that just turned into Ape Gang. And at the time, Reddy was like, he was like the big bro at that time. You know what I'm saying? Man, Preem, we was young niggas. We was 13, 14, 15. Reddy got us by 5 years, so we always was like a step or two behind Reddy. You know what I'm saying? So when he started getting hot, we just was supporting it, and then we started getting hot right at the time when he started leveling up. So that's really all that was about. It wasn't like no shit where like niggas got put together or niggas was just on some shit. Any nigga that we tried to recruit and put him with this shit wound up getting cut off at the end. So it's just like a family thing between us.
Now we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Get y'all a word from one of our local sponsors. This episode of Philly F.A.M.E TV is brought to you by 1212 plant-based hair care products. These products are good for men and women and best used in barbershops and hair salons. You could pick up some 1212 products at Hair Buzz and Hair Town in Philadelphia. Also shop online 12haircare.com for all deliveries. Now back to regular scheduled programming. Some years ago, like during MySpace time, Garcia and Preem actually had reached out about getting on one of our DVDs and shit. But I ain't see it until like years later. Like I ain't never seen the message, but when I went back and looked at it, I noticed it. But by the time I seen it, they already was, I think we already probably had them on something. They already was rolling, so it was just crazy to see it. Like, damn, they really was hungry and trying to get on shit at that time. We just never even seen the shit. So mind you, Ape Gang kind of formed, like I said, we kind of formed around the same time, kind of rolling around the same time. So I want to say around like 07, 08 is when I start really, being around them and hearing about them and all of that type of stuff around 07, 08, 09, around that time. I mean, so early on with the on the as far as the DVD wave go, like Reddy was on tour early, and then I mean they transitioned to Ape Gang. So by the time they became Ape Gang, you know, Headshots era wasn't. I mean, they wasn't on none of that, and I mean, and they when they first started, they wasn't on our stuff right away. Like when they first started, so they weren't really on DVDs like that. I mean, but eventually they did get on them. I mean, start getting on them and start rolling. Like, I mean, like, and they had crazy motion once they did. I mean, start pushing a brand and getting in people's faces and all that. They start getting motion, you know. And then they was part of like the Batcave boys or the Batcave clique and all that. As far as like at that point in time, like I said, like 08, 09, around that time where everybody was recording down Batcave, all that, the heavy guys in the city, as far as like the Gill, Meek, you know, Black De Niro, Mike Knox, like all them guys, like they all was recording down Batcave. You know, Ape Gang was down there heavy, like in the mix with them, and eventually that's how they built their rapport with a lot of them and start getting cool with them and start working with them. So they, you know, they worked their way in the mix that way too, like, I mean. And another way they got in the mix, I mean, according to Garcia, he was like, basically like anytime Gil have an event, I mean, they would show up. They'd be there, I mean, showing love, just showing their faces, I mean, getting themselves out there and connecting, I mean, and that made Gil fuck with him and do shit with him, and I mean, wanted to put him on and help him out with shit, I mean, on the strength that they always was showing love to his stuff and always coming around and shit like that. So that made Gil fuck with him. You know, Gil always been Gil. He always had, you know, pull in the city. He always was a personality. He always was known. I mean, so him fucking with you could only benefit you, especially at that time, because, you know, him and Cosmic Kev was still thorough to this day. So a lot of people was getting on the radio and shit through Gil. So having him, I mean, fuck with you in a relationship with him, I mean, definitely was beneficial, especially at that time, I mean. And, you know, Benzo days in the Batcave heavy, when we was getting them on DVDs, getting footage with them, a lot of times I would slide through and meet them down there and shit. So a lot of the times I hit them up and shit, or we I mean, chop it up however we exchanged it. I mean, whomever I was communicating with, they'd be like, yo, come down, meet us at the Batcave and shit. And I slide down there and get footage of them down there. So I got a nice amount of footage of them on, you know, on multiple different occasions. While they was down the Batcave, be down there working, like, yeah, you know, the blocks back when, you know, Rug had the blocks in down there, and I mean, a lot of people, I mean, was fucking with Rug, one of the top engineers in the city, like, they was down there fucking with him and working with him heavy, I mean, like, so, that's part of the reason why how they was getting their wave, how they had it, I mean, like I said, we got cool early on, came up at the same time, we was on the same type time, as far as how they was carrying it uptown, we was carrying it down where we was at, I mean, like, so we actually did a song together with them too and all that, on top of, you know, them featuring on our DVDs and shit like that. We got a song together on our mixtape and shit, when we had a mixtape, put a mixtape out probably like 2009, 2010, like, I mean, we got a drink with them. I mean, it was Garcia, Preem, and Miz on that joint. I think Reddy, like I said, Reddy, I don't know if Reddy was around at this time. Yeah, so we got them. Got a song with them, know what I mean? Like I said, they had their cookouts out there, came to the cookout. I mean, when we had our cookout, they slid down to our joint, did a cookout in the hood. I mean, they pulled up to our joint too. I mean, so we was fucking with Ape Gang, like they like folks, extended family and shit. Like, definitely fuck with them, I mean.
The kid, Rockstar, and my nigga Daddy, yo, they had this super crazy dumb studio and shit. Oh, first off, last night we go down Maryland. Where was that? Elkin, Maryland and shit. Doing shit over there. After that, we hit the city, hit Plush up and all that. Early in the morning, we get 2 hours of sleep, jump right back up, go fuck with my Brown and them. Super crazy, dumb, stupid type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Right after that, we got our own video shoot, little hood shit that we go do 3 o'clock. Get busy with that. Mobbing season coming soon. Then we hit the motherfucking dice game. We shake them things and shoot them. You know what I'm saying? After that, we gotta come fuck with Fly Boys. It ain't Erie Avenue.
A couple apes out here, nigga. Everybody ain't out here right now, but you know, we been mobbing all day. Niggas is tired, nigga. I'm talking about free my nigga Slim. Walking home shiz. Gun ain't out here right now. Miz Diego ain't here. Free hard body Preem, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? We fucking with that fly boy shit too, man. Y'all niggas doing y'all thing down there, man. Real talk. Y'all niggas is working, man. We respect that. You know what I'm talking about?
Still working, my nigga.
Yeah. But you know.
Early.
Playing into the fucking apes, nigga. You already know, nigga. Believe that, nigga. We out here, nigga.
Uptown right now, my nigga.
Believe that, nigga.
Revamp Street, man, doing what we do. You know.
We missed part 1 and 2, nigga, but we back for this.
Oh yeah, so now we're on 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on.
Yeah, so on and so on,
I mean, better late than never, you feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, regular shit.
Free my nigga Preem, man. Preem was Preem in a halfway joint. He was out here yesterday saying some hard ass shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool though. You know
We'll catch you next time, man. Shout out to Preem.
On this volume right here, though. You know what I'm saying? He be out tomorrow or something like that, man.
Free E, free Mega, free
niggas. Easy E, hurry up and come on. We here,
man,
nigga.
straight, man, playing in the apes.
See that.
Them niggas out there moving hats and hoodies and shit like it's that shit now. Man. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah, niggas doing y'all thing. That's good shit. Shit, man. You already know, man, we fuck with y'all, man. All y'all niggas, man. We just come out the studio, you know what I mean? Back here, they got a new location. You know, that's our home. That's where we make everything, you know what I'm saying? On this banana shit, man. Miz Raw Diego, all body cream, get guap, don't get shot, bossy. Ready rock combo.
Get guap, don't get shot, you know me.
Regular shit, man. Homicide stills, of course, man. And he ain't bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. I just thought I was still wild Ape Gang, man. You know what I mean? We wild for real, nigga. You know what I mean? We wild for real, man. We don't be really with the tough talk on the camera and all that. We really get it in, though. You know what I mean? We really get busy, though.
Our boys, man. You know, we are. See that, man.
Early.
Yeah, we don't go sneak this and we don't do all that. Early. We taking no shots. You see, we do one thing. We get out the hard way. Shout out to Flower Boys. They on the same note we on.
Early.
So at some point in time, you know, Preem had got locked up. Say he got caught up for like a gun case or something like that. Early on when they was rolling, like when they first started getting they roll and they run, I think he had to sit down for like a year. So that early run, a lot of people was seeing like more like Reddy and Garcia for the most part. So kind of put Preem like in the back, so to speak, know what I mean? But, you know, he a team player and they his folks, and, you know, so he felt like as long as my guys winning and they shining, I'm shining too. So, you know, eventually he came back home, got back in the mix with them, know what I mean, was rolling. I mean, like, jumped right, you know what I mean, like he ain't miss a beat, jumped right back, was rolling. So he caught another little situation and had to sit down for a little period of time, was on house arrest for a little minute. So those kind of situations kind of slowed you down a little bit for his run, but, you know, he was able to get back in the mix again, I mean, for a nice little minute. They had a lot of motion, I mean, they was, like I said, they was in the mix heavy, they was spending money, they was investing in themselves, like them Batcave blocks back at that time. I think Batcave was charging like $50 an hour, and this at the time where a lot of studios were charging like $25, $30, $35. Like now it's more common for people to charge like $50, $60, $65, $70 an hour studio time. But back then, Batcave was one of, I mean, it was like certain joints in the city that had that standard quality that would charge that number. So they was investing in themselves, buying them blocks at Batcave consistently. They always was in there. That's one thing you could say. I think they had joint like studio time every week, like every Tuesday or some shit like that. They was in there regardless, working like. So that's something you definitely gotta give them credit for that. That's one of the reasons why they had their wave. And, you know, they was going to antics and shit like that, like promoting themselves. Like I said, the different events Gil would have and shit like that. I think Gil had like some type of event there at Onyx that night. So I slid through that joint. When I walked in, I seen Garcia on the like up on the stage where the girls was at with a big ass stack of ones and shit, like throwing the ones out, like. So that was like a way for them to like promote themselves and shit. Cause as soon as you walk in and see the girls, you see him right on the stage, my man. And he might have had an Ape Gang shirt on or some shit, like, I mean, like. So that's the way they was kind of like promoting themselves and investing in themselves and getting their name out there and shit like that. So. And, you know, they was getting love from the radio and shit like that. I mean, like, Garcia said, like, early on, QDZ was fucking with Reddy heavy, so he had a lot to do with, like, the early wave and on the radio and shit like that, because he used to just talk about Reddy a lot and, you know, promote him. And
yo, it's the boy QDZ. Bitches love me. No, for real. This is all for the bitches. Like, all, you know what I'm saying? All this is for the bitches.
What's your shirt say?
Yo, it say, I don't even know what it say,
Women
but I know I
may
got
be able to fake orgasms,
yeah,
but men fake whole relationships.
But look, I'm not faking it right here with my niggas All Pro. Shout out to All Pro. They was just tore down the come up show. You know what I'm saying? Q Deezy, I'm here holding it down. I'm stamping them niggas, they official. 6200 block, 6200 block of Bavaria.
Uptown.
Yeah, I mean, I be uptown. That's what I do. I am uptown.
From uptown.
That's what I do. Going up there, all that. Say that what?
Say that then.
What he just said. Look, man, it's Q Deezy. I'm done. All Pro.
There. And you know who had a lot to do with our beginning too was Q Deezy. Because at the time he was still at the Come Up show and he used to talk about Reddy a lot. And you know, him and Cosmic Kev was close at that time. They're close again now, but this at the time when they was around each other a lot, and Q Deezy used to talk about Reddy a lot. And Kev actually started lending the air. He was like, yo, I like dude. You know what I'm saying? And he just really started pushing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of shit that Reddy was on back then, what people don't know is Kev really put those together. Kev put a lot of those plays together. Like what was the Cicero joint that Reddy did? I forgot that it was Reddy, Meek, Cicero, Mike Knox, Joey Jihad, and I think that was it on there. But that was Cosmic Kev play. He told something about throwing it. What was it? I forgot how the shit went. But you know, that was Kev work. Kev told him, you know, you could do the song if you put Reddy on it. I'ma push it. And Reddy ain't had no ties to Kev or nothing. That was just like all love. So from that little situation right there, I always had love for dude. Kev, so yeah, that's how that started.
The next thing you know, Kev started fucking with him, and then later on down the line, Kev ended up plugging him on some stuff. Like, you know, Kev was running with, he had a little different relationships with different artists in the city. So yeah, you know, depending on who you was and the relationship you had with you, help you push your song and put you on shit and shit like that. So at the time, you know, revert back to my Cicero interview when he was talking about the time when he was good with Kev and Kev was pushing the songs for him. You know, at one time Sis had radio songs like Swag It Out, and he had Swag It Out remixed, and he had a song called In the Air. I mean, he had this nice little run back when Meek had his run with In My Bag and all that shit. Like, so one of them songs, I think it was a Swag It Out remix. He had Meek on there, Mike Knox, Gillian on there, and I think Kev put the play in to put Reddy on that joint, get radio look. You know what I mean, basically, it was on the radio. He was gonna spin that shit on the radio. He had, I mean, all these different other people on there from the city, so it gave radio look. Like, so early on, like the radio was showing love, like I mean, and helping them out. So that's another reason why they was able to build their wave the way they was able to build it. You know what I mean, and like I mentioned earlier, that you know, the main members was Preem, Garcia, and Reddy, but you know, at some point in time they had Stiz. He was a part of it. Know what I mean, I actually got footage with all of them when Stiz was a part of it too. So that's how I know them and know him too through them. Know what I mean, like, so I don't know exactly what happened with the situation with Stiz and why he wasn't a part of it no more. I ain't too sure. Never asked neither one of them. Like I did. I had interviews with, like I said, Preem and Garcia. I never really asked them. I don't think I asked them about Stiz. And later on, I didn't. I mean, I had Stiz on the platform around the time when, you know, they had that situation with Cicero, Kaboom. They had that little controversy with the battle. And I had got them on there. I never asked Stiz about it, never talked about it. Even off camera, I don't think we ever even talked about it. Like, so I still, to this day, don't know what happened. I mean, they pretty much kept it under wraps for the most part. But, you know, I'm just assuming that, you know, based though, you know, Preem and Garcia and Reddy, they came up together, so they like the original people. They from Bavaria Street. I mean, like, so they pretty much, that's like the core. That's the foundation. That's what it is. So like other people that come along, eventually they probably, you know, whatever the case may be, they just do their own thing. And it could be creative differences or whatever. Who knows? Like, but Stiz made out good because eventually later on down the line started the Battle Academy League. So. I mean, so that's pretty much what he doing now. So, you know, even though he not with them no more, he found his lane, and now he doing him. I mean, as far as Miz, like I said, I hope I'm not saying his name. I believe that's who he is. His name Miz Diego. If I ain't mistaken, I think that's what he used to go by. So I hope I'm not, you know, it was a minute ago, so I hope I ain't, you know, mistaken boy name, but I believe that's what his name was. Like, I don't know what happened with him either. Like I heard he might be like Garcia cousin or something like that. Or at least I heard that back in the day. So I don't know if that was true. I don't know if it really was. I don't know. Like so I don't know. At some point in time he wasn't around in the mix no more. So you know, like I said, another one they kept under the wraps. Nobody really talked about. So I don't really know what happened. But at some point in time, you know, it just was Preem, Garcia, and Reddy pushing it. You know what I mean, at some point. So Reddy had his he got twin daughters and all that, so you know he had to become, I mean, he had to assume that position. I mean, once the baby mom going, like, now you the full all around parent now, I mean. So at some point in time he ended up moving him and his kids out Cali, I mean. And so at some point in time while he was out Cali, he was doing little shit out there, like pushing little movies and shit out there. You know, I just been following. I didn't get a chance to do no interview with him like that, but you know, I follow him on social media and shit like that. So I've been seeing everything, I mean, as far as what's going on with him. That's how he been posting about his baby mom passing. That's how I knew about that. And him moving out Cali and all that. I mean, he be showing, I mean, a lot of his life. He don't do too much heavy posting, but he show what's going on with him, I mean, from time to time. So I seen he had like 1,000 grams movement at some point in time out there. And at some point he started fucking with like the weed, I mean, dispensary type shit, I guess something like that, like fucking with the weed out there. I mean, then more recent time I see he had like event space, like an art space type joint where people doing stuff at, like Speedo when he was doing his podcast. He did like some episodes down there and shit like that. I see Reddy promoting that joint. So I mean, Reddy always been a hustler. I give him that. Like he definitely been a hustler ass nigga. So he always had shit going on. So I'm saying that to say I believe like once his baby mom passed and he had to move his kids and shit out Cali. I mean, I ain't saying he had to move. That's what he did. I don't know. I mean, what made him do it, but that's what he ended up doing. So once he did that, I think that's kind of like was the beginning of everybody kind of like starting to do their own thing. I mean, I could be wrong. It might have started before that happened, but as far as my recollection, that's when I noticed it or remembered. Like once he kind of moved out Cali and started doing shit out there, then I noticed like all of them kind of started doing their own individual thing. Like so, like Garcia started, you know, doing his own thing for us, like rapping, like he started dropping his own projects and shit like that, going hard, like on some solo shit. And you know, eventually, you know, they built their rapport with Meek and shit, you know, being down Batcave. Like I said, Meek was one of the Batcave crew, one of the Batcave boys, like they used to call themselves, I mean. So they built the rapport and shit with Meek back then. I guess Garcia, you know, I mean, him and Meek clicked, I mean, like, and they became cool, like, and eventually, you know, he signed like a artist deal with Meek, like on Dream Chasers, I mean. And Garcia kind of explained too, like I said, that interview when he kind of explained like how they became cool. Like.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy, man, that a lot of people don't really know about me and Meek. Back in 09 or 2010 or whatever the shit was, we got tight because we had like a little misunderstanding with each other. And it's at the time like he was going through a lot of shit with a lot of different rappers, and you know, I wasn't worrying about rap shit at that time. I was more so going through shit with niggas in the streets. And not saying he wasn't going through shit with niggas in the streets, but mentally my mind just wasn't on like no rap beef or nothing. And I got a call about somebody, you know, somebody that he used to be cool with, supposed to be like, you know, talking bad about us. And man, you know, we had a misunderstanding. So we got on the phone, you know, we talked like men, and we really put that shit behind us. And after that, you know, me and dude got real tight, and it was just like, yo, we started doing a couple joints together, a couple blogs that I was doing before we even did songs together. You gotta think, this at the time, Meek was fucking lit. He had the city on smash, bro. So at that time, he really was doing little small shit for me, like, if I'm doing a blog or if I'm doing an interview, he'd show his face in it, you know, and Ape Gang, and, you know, Ape Gang, them balls on fire, and this and that, and this, you know what I'm saying? And that also created a little room for me to really, like, build my catalog, and Reddy and Preem to build their catalog, and that was, like, little shit that I appreciated. This before he really took all the way off. He had the city on smash, but he didn't take all the way off yet. Then after that, he would call me a lot at that time, like, yo, I'm shooting a video down here, come down the video shoot, Jordan Towers shooting it. For those that don't know who Jordan Towers is, this when World Star was just taking off, Jordan Towers had this shit on Smash, bro. So at that time, he had called me and put me around niggas like Jordan Towers and shit like that. And I'm like, damn, I really fuck with homie because he extending his hand and putting me on people that he really don't gotta put me on. You know what I'm saying? So that already just like made our relationship like real sturdy. You know what I'm saying? Like I started feeling like that. I fuck with Cuz. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he need from me, I'ma do. Whatever, you know what I'm saying, I need from him, he was doing it. So that put us on a different level. You know what I'm saying?
He said they had like a disagreement. They had like a disagreement. You know what I mean? And then through that disagreement, they had a conversation. And through that conversation, they just got cool. Like, so after the disagreement, they was able to get past it, and they just got real cool. So once he got rolling as a solo artist, like Meek pretty much like, bro, you always around me. Like, I mean, you might as well just run with the DC stamp. Like, man, like, my man, get down, officially down with the team and just run with the stamp and do your thing. So Meek was really pushing him and supporting him as an artist. Like, man. And at some point, like, Garcia caught a drug case, you know what I mean, back in like 2011, I believe it was. So if they started Ape Gang wave probably like 08, 09, and they was rolling into 2010. So by 2011, you know, they doing their thing. They pretty much probably like in a prop. I mean, as far as his name is stamped like this time, and then he get locked up. And he caught, like, say, he got locked up for like over 1,000 grams, like something like that. So, you know, he had a serious drug case he was fighting. Him and a couple other people was on the case. I mean, and he was saying a lot of people, you know, was counting him out, thought it was over for him, like, thought he wasn't gonna make it up out that situation. Like, I mean, he felt like it was looking bad for him. But he said Meek kept it solid with him. Like, while he was locked up, Meek was fucking with Preem and fucking with Reddy while he was booked. Know what I mean, like, doing a little shit with them and shit. So he felt like that was, I mean, solid of Meek. Know what I mean, and so when he came back home, he just turned back up. Know what I mean, turned back up, got right back in the mix doing this thing. And at some point in time, he kind of like transitioned more into like CEO status and started fucking with the real estate and shit like that. So in our interview, he was talking about starting to get into the real estate, him and Lou Will and shit like that. Then as years went on, you start stepping that shit up with it. Starting, I mean, he started going up with that shit. So it's like all this shit he was talking about doing, he was going to do with the real estate and all that shit in the interview. It's like he just started doing that shit. Like, man, he started running it up and doing this thing. Like I said, he transitioned to CEO, and eventually he started on label, Bando Baby Records. Know what I mean? Got one of the top labels, independent labels in the city. You know what I mean? He got Ryder. I mean, I fuck with Ryder heavy. I think he one of the top guys in the city rapping. Like, I think he one of them. He been for the last couple years. I mean, he got shorty named Naya G. She from Camden, but I fuck with her. She got a nice little weave. And I believe he got Seam Sosa and NSU Shido, if I ain't mistaken. Like, it's been a little minute since I looked at their roster. I know they got a couple rappers from the city that doing their thing for sure. Like, I mean, so he got a nice little roster. I mean, he doing this thing. I mean, for sure. Like, but I remember, like, I mean, before, like, a little bit, a minute ago, I mean, this before Puff got booked, like, cause he used to I used to see him with Puff a lot. He used to be running around with Puff heavy and shit. Like, so I mean, Puff was real cool. So I think that's another way with as far as the how the DC shit. Know what I mean, cause I mean, Puff was thorough, like. So he was always tied in with DC through Puff and through Meek. I mean, like, so you fast forward to today, and you know, Bando Baby Records, like I said, like, man, like they shaking and moving. So he ain't been on the rap shit in a little minute. Like, I mean, he been more so like on the CEO shit and the real estate shit. I mean, last little interview I did with him. I got Garcia on the joint a couple times, like on Philly Fame TV a couple times, like. So the last interview I did with him, he's pretty much breaking that down, like all the shit he was doing. I mean, his current relationship with Meek and Lou Will and all the other people like that he built rapports with back then in his Ape Gang days. He still got rapports with him now. So you fast forward today, you see him with Meek heavy, like everywhere Meek at. I mean, Meek posts pictures, Garcia right there, like. I mean, so that's pretty much where he at with it. And Preem started doing his own thing. You see, I mean, basically, like, you seen them doing their shit. I mean, they had each of them ready in, and Garcia got their own motion, so Preem started his own shit, straight to it. I mean, that's he started push and go on his own shit, like, I mean, with the merch and, I mean, with the music, and started doing blogs and video, like, he really just started, I mean, being the one to do his own, do his own wave. And for today, like, it seemed like he the only one that's like active as far as rapping. Like Reddy kind of seemed like he fell back from rapping and putting music out and all that, and Garcia more on like CEO type time. So Preem the only one that, you know, in current time every now and then he'll drop, might throw a little freestyle up and just rapping, or might drop a little video, or might drop some music. So he seemed like he the only one out of them that still might, be active music wise and all that. But like I said, I ain't never seen a time where, as far as them three, the main ones, Garcia, Preem, and Reddy, I ain't never seen a time where they was not cool or beefing or, you know, none of that type of stuff. And if they was, they definitely kept it under wraps. I ain't never put that shit out there. Like, but for the most part, it seemed like always been thorough. Always, it seemed like they been genuine homies. It's deeper than rap. It seemed like on some locks type shit. It seemed like they cut from that. Like, it seemed like, it ain't about rapping or we Ape Gang putting out, like we family, we folks, like, so, and we always gonna be folks. That's how I seem like they situation is. So maybe one day we might get a, you know, an Ape Gang reunion type joint, or one day they might, you know, all come back together, drop a song, drop a project. Who knows? Do something, like. As long as they all still alive and well and they free and they doing their thing, it's anything's possible. Like, as of today, it look like they all successful and comfortable doing whatever they is doing outside of rap. They making money, taking care of their family, staying out the way. So they seem like they all cool. Like, everybody's successful in their own right. So they're like, they ain't really pressing rapping or having the need to rap to try to be cool or relevant or make no bag. Like, they just cool doing what they doing. Like, but shout out to them, man. Shout out to the whole team. Like, they definitely the guys. I fuck with all of them heavy, like, as a group and individually. Like, I got my own little, rapport and relationship with all of them individually. Like, I bump into them niggas separately on multiple different occasions in the city. So I fuck with them niggas heavy. They definitely always been thorough, always been sturdy. Niggas always been hustlers. In some way, shape, form, or fashion, niggas gonna hustle. They gonna make it happen, make it do what it do. Like, so shout out to that whole Ape Gang. That's gonna conclude this episode of what happened to Ape Gang and where they are today. They all active on Instagram. So y'all can follow them, see what they doing, see what they got going on today. And if y'all want to see an Ape Gang reunion, see them niggas do something one day, do a song, a track, a video, a show, something, like, hit them niggas DM or comment on this shit. Let them know, like, tell them niggas bring that shit back one time. That's gonna conclude this episode. Shout out to everybody that tapped in. Shout out to everybody that's been tapping in. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. This your first time, coming to the channel. This your first video you seen from us. Go on the channel. Check out old videos, like and subscribe. And stay tuned for the new content coming soon. In the meantime, between times, we signing out. Philly F.A.M E TV. We out of here.